Hi, I'm Sandi Genovese, and I'm looking at creating a Valentine project today. I'm calling it Hanging Hearts because, as you can see, it's meant to hang, but I'll show you how easy it is to flatten it out so that you can also put it in the mail. But I thought I would show you. We're going to look at how to decorate it, and I've got this one decorated so that it's fully embellished and looks dimensional so that the design looks like it sort of continues all on this side. When I turn it, I have opted to leave the back side more plain, so it's just red and pink at this point. I'm not sure. I'm thinking I like print so much, I might go ahead and do some polka dots and some stripes and some other fun things on the back side. But I thought I would leave it plain so you can see it's fun both ways. And then I've just taken a ribbon and I've looped it and placed it through the opening or the hole that we're going to see that's going to be at the tip of the heart. In order to do this, you want first to start with a heart pattern. So if I go ahead and I set this down, just take paper and fold it and then create a heart shape that you like, and one that when it's finished and opened up is going to fit into the size envelope that you have. And then the way that the hearts work is with an interlocking mechanism. And I have two that we're going to actually decorate, but I wanted you to see you're going to use the pattern to cut it out twice. So if I cut out the pink one, I'm just going to cut out a regular heart. The red one, and it doesn't matter, it could be either color, I'm going to cut the same heart, but notice I've added this hanging element, this little knob at the top with a 1/4-inch hole punched through it. That is what allows it to hang so easily. You don't want to put anything super heavy on it because they need to interlock, and you don't want it to be so heavy that they pull apart when you go to hang it. But what you're basically doing is you're cutting up halfway from the bottom of one, doesn't matter which one, and you're cutting down halfway from the top from the other one. And when you slide the two together like this, they interlock and they create the hanging heart. When you pull it around, you can see how it becomes really cool and dimensional. And quite honestly, even just red and pink like this is really fun. But of course, I want to show some more fun things to do than just that. But if you're making a whole lot, that might be what you do. The final element, we're going to see how at the end, we're going to add the hanger part. But at this point, let's look at adding the decoration. And let me also show you on the pattern, I actually overlapped the cuts. And I thought my color would work, but they sort of kind of blended together. But I've shown on the pattern with yellow, when you cut halfway down the fold line, you can see that my yellow goes all the way to this yellow line. And then when you cut halfway up from the bottom with the red line, it goes all the way to this red line. So there's this little, I don't know, maybe between 1/8 and 1/4 inch overlap. And that overlap is where they're going to really seat and hold together. So once you have that as your pattern, you're going to cut out and put your slits in the interlocking pieces. Then the fun part to decorate. So what I did was, ever frugal, I decided, and if you have pattern paper that you like, that's great. But sometimes it's just more personal to make it yourself. So what I've done, and I can't write this upside down, I have to turn it toward me, but I just have black paper and a white jelly roll pen, and all I'm going to do is just create a pattern writing love you all the way across the page. So I'm writing love you, love you, love you, and you're going to just keep going right off the edge. And then this, when I start the next row, since this one starts with love, this one will start with you. So I'll start with you and then continue my row of love you and just continue. It's surprising how quickly this happens. And I know there are going to be people who say, but I hate my handwriting. I'm actually not crazy about mine either. But once you start putting them in a repetitive pattern like this, you're going to be surprised. Chances are you're going to like your handwriting or your printing, one or the other, and it makes it super personal. And of course, you could write the person's name over and over that you're giving it to. You can personalize it however you want. Once you've done that, either buy the pattern paper you like or create yours. But I'm going to use this to overlap. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the one that has the hanging kind of knob at the top, and I've gone ahead and I've used my pattern so that I can cut a portion of this out, and it's going to sit like so. And I just cut it so it stops before the slit, although I could have overlapped the slit. That would have worked too. I think on the other side I do overlap the slit. So I know I say this every time. I'm not going to bother to put as much adhesive as you need, but place your adhesive and then place it right over the top. And then I wanted a little more pattern, so since I have black and red, I decided to add a little detail with sort of a pinky peach color. So I'm going to put adhesive on the back of this strip and then place this right over the top. Get rid of any little beads of adhesive that are still showing, and then I'm going to trim off the excess. So I'll trim off the extra from one side and then trim off the other side. And I've decorated one. Now, when you slide or interlock the two together, if I want you to see this section here with the pattern, and when you flip it over, I want a different pattern, I can't put the black solid on the bottom, and I'll show you why. Let me just set this here. I'm not going to actually glue it down, but when I pull these together like so and interlock them, it's going to be tricky because it's not actually glued, but you'll get, hopefully I can get this together enough that you'll get the idea. See how this works, but you need this to be on this side, not over here where you suddenly have this random thing on the back section. So what that means is I'm going to put half here and I'm going to put half on the other side. So I'm going to take scissors. The slit is the perfect place to start, and I'm going to just cut straight so that it lines up with the tip of the heart, like so. And then I'm going to put adhesive on the back. Remember, you're going to do more. And position this on one side. And then I'll put adhesive on the flip side. And sometimes, in order to make sure I'm getting it on the right side, I'm going to go ahead and attach this down. All right, so I have it now, this side and the flip side, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add the red, the detail as well. So I'll put adhesive on the back of the red and attach it to this portion. I'm going to cut off the excess and do the same thing with this side. Put my adhesive on the back and attach this. I like having black or white to offset when there's too much red and pink. The value of these are so similar that I need a dark or a light black or a white color to really offset it. So once you have the pattern on one side of the red heart and on both sides of the pink heart, you're going to interlock them together. At the slits, slide them until the tips line up, and look how you have this cool design that, let me lock this together a little bit with my hands. So you have this cool design that shows all this dimensionality and this fun color from this side, and right now I have a more plain side on the back. All that you do to make it hang is just take, you can see I've just made a loop of ribbon, and I've hung a little metal tag that I happen to have. I can't even remember where that came from. And I'm going to just poke this through the 1/4 inch hole that I punched with my 1/4 inch hole punch. And when I bring this up to the top, notice that the knot holds the little tag on there, and it's also going to prevent the whole thing from sliding back through the hole. And look, you now have a hanging heart. And when it's time for you to put it in the mail and send it to your friends, all you need to do is just flattened it out, and stick it into an envelope. What could be more cool than that? You know, this interlocking technique, it can be used to create dimensional shapes of any kind. But for a Valentine, what could be better than a heart?